Now we'll start with the nervous system of frog, its structure and function. In frog, like all vertebrates, nervous system is located on the dorsal side of the body. Like all vertebrates, the nervous system of frog is basically of two types or can be divided into two sections. First, voluntary nervous system, and second, involuntary nervous system. Let us first of all begin with the voluntary nervous system. First of all, what does voluntary nervous system mean? In this type of nervous system, the regulation of various activities comes under the willingness of the animal. That is, any activity that is performed by frog is done willingly or knowingly. Now this voluntary nervous system is further divided into two types. First, central nervous system, and second, peripheral nervous system. Further, central nervous system comprises of brain and spinal cord. And peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves that arises from the central nervous system, that is, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Let us first of all begin with the study of brain. This figure depicts the dorsal and ventral view of the brain of frog. Brain is located in the head region and is protected within the cranium. Cranium is a hard bony-like structure within which brain occurs. That is, cranium helps in the protection of the brain. Now, brain constitutes or is divided into three regions. First, forebrain. Forebrain is the anterior-most structure of the brain. It occurs on the anterior portion of brain and consists of a pair of olfactory lobes, a pair of cerebral hemisphere, and diencephalon. On the ventral side of this diencephalon occurs another important structure known as infundibulum. Thus, on ventral portion of diencephalon occurs a hollow pouch-like structure which is known as infundibulum. The pituitary gland, that is master, is attached to the broad posterior end of it. Thus, posterior part of infundibulum contains pituitary gland, this pituitary gland is considered as the master endocrine gland and controls various physiological activities like growth and development. This we'll study in the later units. The second part of the brain, after forebrain comes midbrain. Definitely name suggests that it is situated in the middle region. So, the middle part of brain constitutes the midbrain. Midbrain consists of two large and oval-shaped obliquely arranged optic lobes. Following midbrain occurs the third part of the brain, that is hindbrain. Hindbrain is the posterior part of the brain and occurs following the midbrain. The hindbrain constitutes or is made up of cerebellum and medulla oblongata. This medulla oblongata continues further as spinal cord in the vertebral column. Thus, the second part of nervous system, that is spinal cord, occurs in the trunk region definitely as a part of the central nervous system and terminates In the hollow cavity of urostyle, of the vertebral column, as phylum Terminale. Then comes, following central nervous system, another part of the voluntary nervous system, that is peripheral nervous system. As said earlier, peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves that arise from the central nervous system. So, it consists of or is formed by cranial nerves, that arise from brain, and occurs in 10 pairs, and second, spinal nerves, which arises from the spinal cord and occurs in 9 pairs. This was all about the voluntary nervous. Now let us study about another type of nervous system, that is involuntary, which is also known as autonomous nervous system. This type of nervous system is totally opposite to that of the voluntary one. In this, the activities are involuntary controlled by the animal. That is, the involuntary activities occur randomly without any control of the animal. This involuntary nervous system consists of two types, that is sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. These two systems entirely work opposite to that of one another. That is, they perform complementary functions to each other. For example, in sympathetic nervous system, it accelerates the heartbeat and on the contrary, parasympathetic nervous system decelerates the same process. Therefore, the maintenance of heartbeat is maintained by these two types of nervous system. Therefore, they perform complementary functions to each other. This was all about the nervous system. Now let us start with the sense organs.